The time it takes. A story doesn't care how fast you want to go. A story doesn't care how excited you are to tell it. All a story cares about is being told as well as it can be. And there's no set time frame on how long that takes. I've written novels in 6 months. I've taken 2 years to write a play. I've got ideas that are still brewing now that I started over 10 years ago. And everything in between. There's so many factors involved with how long a story takes to come to life and for me to finish it. Obviously, I can choose to make a certain story a priority for my attention and dedicate most of my time to it. When I do that, I find that it takes me around a year to develop a first draft and a good few months back and forth with an editor to get it to be the best I can make it. Maybe that seems like a long time to you. Maybe you think you'd be much quicker. You might be right. There's no right or wrong time frame. But if you think you will be in complete control of that time frame for the whole process, mate, you're in for a lesson. See, people have a vision of a writer sitting alone, locked away in their room, shutting off from the world. My process isn't like that. I have a family, and writing is something that fits into my life rather than controlling it. I also believe that for me, a large chunk of what we'd call writing happens in my head while I'm doing other things. Thoughts and ideas buzzing around my brain, slowly refining themselves, changing, fading, coming back, until something gives me the urge to put it down onto a page. I've done a diagram. It's very good. For me, overall, I'd say the beginning usually takes the longest. Getting to a point where I care enough about the characters and world to commit to following them all the way takes me a good while. I play with ideas and those early feelings I talked about in the first video, creating people and relationships, and I can sometimes spend months in that phase, seeing what I like, trying to discover things that feel new and exciting. Sometimes I'll start an idea and at some point a character will sprout up who really doesn't fit with the story I thought I was trying to develop, but they demand their own story. It turns out that this new person's story is the one I really want to tell. Sounds frustrating, but it happens. I leave what I already had in a folder that I might come back to at a different time and follow what excites me. I like using big paper during these early phases too. There's something about the space and freedom of scribbling ideas in a messy, spread out way that suits my brain and helps me find stuff much quicker than trying to write in a neater Word document kind of layout. I also write lots and lots of dialogue. I'd probably say that writing conversations is my favourite part. There's something about dialogue that feels alive to me and gets me to the heart of characters and their relationships much more than anything else does. I'm not sure if it's the fact that I grew up around people who weren't big readers but talked and shared stories pretty much all day, every day. It probably is. Whatever the reason, I find myself speaking ideas out loud to myself a lot and also talking to friends about my characters, and many, many times it's actually through a conversation that I feel a character becomes solid in my head. Which is your favourite part of writing? Write lots, find out, do loads of it. Let what you love lead you to your own style and voice. Then get down to business. Once I care and I have a sense of the world and what my character wants, and through that an idea of what might happen, I try to write every day. Some people like to sit in the same chair in the same room at the same time. I don't mind so much where I am, as long as I have a cup of tea and a window. I like to remember the real world in between typing, and natural light makes me feel good. So what am I saying? I'm basically saying the same thing that I said at the beginning. It's up to you. Each story is different, and every time you start a new one, you're a little different too. Try things, read things, watch things, listen to people in the world, play with techniques and approaches and find what feels right. Not everyone wants to tell stories. The fact that you want to is exciting and important. Nobody else can tell you the stories you have to tell. Now it's just up to you to choose how.